Well, the word was gradually. That's quite correct. But sometimes you look at the history of these things, U.S. attorneys that are holdover stay in for months and months and months until someone is found that they want to replace them. The suspicion is, in some quarters, perished the thought in this quarter,
Yes, perished
that
the thought.
one of their targets was the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Jay Stevens, who is hot on the trail of a man named Dan Rostenkowski, who happens to be the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. Now, maybe Rostenkowski has done nothing wrong, but Stevens says he's within a month, he and his unit, of making a decision as to whether to make a presentation to the grand jury asking for an indictment in the House Post Office scandal. Well, to remove him right now and say, sorry, Mr. Stevens, you're a Republican, that's it, suggests that maybe Mr. Rostenkowski has just dodged a bullet.
But it's also true that Jay Stevens has been saying this for months and months and months, that he has been saying we're about to indict, we might have an indictment might be coming, and there's all kinds of suspicion on the other side that he has been saying that just in order to keep his job when a Democratic administration came in, and to try to embarrass the Democrats into keeping him because of Rostenkowski. I think if he had the goods to indict Dan Rostenkowski, he would have indicted Dan Rostenkowski.
It would have made him famous.
And he has not had the goods, and now he's in a situation where he is going through every laundry slip that Dan Rostenkowski has ever collected at his neighborhood laundry.
Well, that
Well,
may
look,
be
it may be that Hanging Sam knows what the answer to this one is before we get to it, but not to personalize something which is larger. If the president, pardon me, if the Attorney General moved as slowly on this as they have in some other areas, we would be saying, what's the matter? These people can't get control of their own Attorney General's office. They can't get control of the U.S. attorneys. I think this is a smart thing to do. It's a very decisive move that says, okay, we started off slowly here. Now we're in control. It will not be a smart move if they're not able to replace those U.S. attorneys pretty quickly.
Well, all right, at the very least.
And the record on that is not likely to be too
that's what we're going to say.
At the very least, then, the new gang ought to be able to say at some reasonable period, whether it's 30 days or not, and put forward the evidence that there was no case against Dan Rostenkowski. It was not politics. But you talk about not moving rapidly. There are only 2 members, as I understand it, of the Defense Department, of scores that need to be confirmed, who have been confirmed. There is no Clinton administration beneath the, Clinton, Benson, and Brown level. Senator Glenn's committee in the Senate.
Is that a law firm? Clinton,
Benson and Brown is what runs the town now.
Sounds like
all apologies to Les Aspin. And Senator Glenn has to go through the nomination policy product of 52 members. As of a week ago, only 2 had been presented. What is happening over at the White House if they cannot seem to come up with an administration?
Well, we are, of course, as usual, developing the memory span of a flea. I mean, it's not as though the Bush administration...
the memory span of a flea.
But as we jump so fast from one issue to the other, we forget what happened on the last time. I mean, people do not move very quickly in the modern presidency in naming their appointments. These guys are moving a little more slowly than the last one. The last one moved more slowly.
I remember your administration, the one you served in, Jimmy Carter. He didn't have all of his offices filled by this time, but he had over half of them.
I will tell you this, the State Department spokesman at that time was not confirmed for another month and a half. I speak for myself.
Was there a great public uproar of fury and anger because not all of you guys had been put in office?
There was a lot of conversation.
I don't remember hearing anybody complain, do you?
Well,
David, there was blame of the FBI. There was a lot of finger pointing going back. Same old story. I hate to say this.
It is always true that when you change parties and change administrations, it's slow, but things have gotten slower for a couple of reasons. One, all the FBI process slowed down after Douglas Ginsburg was discovered to have been a pot smoker in the FBI, not to have known it. And now it's slowed down again after Zoe Baird was discovered to be a hirer of illegal aliens and not paid Social Security. So that all gets slowed down. You add to that the fact that they want to do some ethnic and racial and gender diversification, and you've really got a mess.
And a lot of people
want to examine everything down to and including a lint in your pocket. See if everything has ever happened to you. Let's change the